Ready for Kid News? So are we. But first, a word from today's awesome sponsor.
Is your business or organization, like KidNuz, all about kids? Now there's a new perfect domain to match your perfect audience. Enter .kids, not .com or .org, but .kids. It's a dedicated online space of higher trust and protection for the next generation. The .kids domain lets everyone know that you care enough to choose a safer, more trustworthy, and positive online experience. Think debateclub.kids or teentennis.kids. Even Starglow is in on the action with podcast.kids. See your ideas come to life on a .kids domain. Visit hello.kids/kidnews today for specially priced .kids domains. That's hello.kids/kidnews.
Good morning and welcome to Kid News. I'm Kim. Today is Wednesday, January 10th, 2024. And we begin with NASA kicking its moon plans down the road. Yesterday, the space agency announced it won't send Artemis astronauts skyward this November as planned. It'll now be 2026 at the earliest. The news came just hours after a private company reported its already airborne mission to the moon is also a bust. Propulsion problems with the Peregrine lunar lander are not fixable, and the reported goal now is to get as close to the moon as possible before it loses power completely. As far as its non-scientific payload, namely the DNA from former U.S. presidents George Washington, John F. Kennedy, and Dwight Eisenhower, and the ashes of Star Trek creator Gene Roddenberry and several other celebrities, those will likely remain floating in the final frontier forever. NASA understands the disappointment and offered support on social. Space, it posted on X, is hard. It's official. 2023 was the hottest year on Earth ever. According to the European Climate Agency Copernicus, the planet was 1.48 degrees Celsius or 2.66 degrees Fahrenheit warmer last year than it was before the fossil fuel burning industrial era, which is largely blamed for our global warming mess. There is no one cause for the 2023 increase, but scientists say the biggest by far was the amount of heat-trapping greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. Those gases come from the burning of coal, oil, and natural gas. Is the situation hopeless? No, not at all. As an Australian researcher put it, we should not abolish a speed limit simply because somebody exceeded it. We just need to double our efforts to step on the brakes. How important is a bolt? Plenty important, especially when it's holding parts of a plane together. And now, in the wake of the grounding of Boeing's 737 MAX 9s, both United and Alaska Air are reporting that inspections have turned up loose hardware on several of their grounded planes. Meanwhile, the missing door from Friday night's flight was found in the backyard of a high school physics teacher, Bob Sauer, in Cedar Hills near Portland, Oregon. 2 cell phones, at least one of which was still in working order after the 16,000-foot fall, were also found nearby. But the star of the day was definitely Bob. He told NBC News his entire school had heard about his find by the time he arrived, and he spent much of the day talking about his sudden fame. Being a teacher, though, he says he was able to use the airborne accident and door discovery as examples of physics in action. Every 2 seconds in the U.S., someone needs a life-saving blood donation. But right now, there's a critical supply shortage, and the number of donors has plummeted to a 20-year low. Aside from sounding the alarm and calling on all Americans to roll up their sleeves, the Red Cross is also offering 2 tickets to the Super Bowl as an incentive. Through January, any Red Cross donation of blood, plasma, or platelets will automatically register a donor for the sweepstakes. The prize includes round-trip airfare to Vegas, 3-night hotel stay, and a $1,000 gift card, plus access to pregame festivities. The Red Cross blames the current shortage on this winter's surge of COVID and flu, and the new work-from-home era, which puts company blood drives out of sight and out of mind. And Tiger Woods is saying so long to the swoosh. For 27 years, he's been decked out head to toe in Nike, but no more. Both sides released statements this week to mark an end to what was arguably one of the most recognizable and iconic relationships in sports history. Tiger didn't say what apparel brand he might rep in future events, but since his accident, he's been wearing FootJoy golf shoes, and he says he will continue his comeback. He ended his statement with "See you in LA," which may point to the Genesis tournament that tees off in Pacific Palisades on February 15th. Still to come, a house mouse that just won't tolerate the mess left by his human. But first, the Mizzos of McLean, Virginia, want to wish Gia Mizzo a happy belated 13th birthday. Gia, your family wants you to know you are a wonderful sister to your 4 siblings, a beautiful singer and creative artist, a fierce soccer player, and a kind and loving person. They hope your teenage years are as amazing as you are. Now, today's quiz. When is the earliest NASA will send astronauts to the moon? 2026. 2023 was the hottest year ever on Earth. How much did temperatures rise over pre-industrial years? 1.48 degrees Celsius or 2.66 degrees Fahrenheit. Where was the missing door from an Alaska Airlines flight found? The backyard of a high school physics teacher. How often does someone in the U.S. need life-saving blood? Every 2 seconds. In today's Kid News Kicker, mice are often associated with things that are dirty, but at least one is quite the neat freak. A retired postal worker in Great Britain says he set up a camera in his shed after noticing that things he left out on his workbench at night were often tidied up by morning. Sure enough, his nocturnal surveillance turned up a mouse gathering random corks, cable ties, nails, even a screwdriver, and putting them in a box. It happens night after night without fail, although sometimes this Welsh tiny mouse is joined by friends. Experts say it likely has less to do with tidying and more to do with a mouse's tendency to hoard or stockpile objects. Either way, the Washington Post reports that British media is having a field day with this house mouse, dubbing it Mini Kondo after the Queen of Clean, Marie Kondo. Thanks again to the Mizzo family for underwriting today's quiz. Happy belated 13th to Gia Mizzo, and hello to all her friends and fellow Pelicans at the Potomac School in McLean, Virginia. And shout-outs to our other Kid News classrooms. Mrs. Austin and her Trojans at Bryant in Owasso, Michigan. Mrs. Murphy and her Titans at Hobomock in Pembroke, Massachusetts, and Mr. Finan and Mrs. Silberberg, members of our Kid News Parent Council at St. Stephen's and St. Agnes in Alexandria, Virginia. Teachers, we've got a new critical thinking worksheet ready for download. It's our January Noodler, and it's free in the Teachers Lounge section of our website. Have a great day, and we'll see you back here for more Kid News tomorrow morning.